Hey everyone, it's Aaliyah Orozco, and I have the honor of being joined with the one and only Boxing Hall of Famer, Sugar Shane Mosley. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Of course. So this is a really big week in boxing, and last week was huge too. There's been a lot going on this year, which is really exciting. So let's start there. Do you feel, in your opinion, boxing is moving in the right direction, having all these big fights being matched up? There's been some pretty big fights this year.
Man, I'm pretty excited. There's a lot of big fights and a lot of good fights. I'm excited to see the next one. Who's the next one? What's going on? The next one's with Jake Paul.
That's why we're here.
We're here for Jake Paul. Yeah, he's going to do his thing, man. He's looking really good, sharp, fast. I think that the training, the coaching staff did a great job, and which is third Chambers, Jay Leon Love, and myself. So I think that everything is going according to plan.
What has it been like working with him again? I know you were his first trainer when he first entered the boxing world, and now you're back. Have you seen a different Jake in the ring than you have before? What has that been like?
I mean, definitely you see a different Jake. I mean, when I had him, he might have been boxing for almost a year, maybe like 2 or 3 months, and he's grown so much from that point, from when I left. So I see a big change in him. I see more maturity in his boxing skills and abilities and understanding of the boxing game. So I think that, the jabs, right hands, the hooks, everything, he has better understanding of his movements and everything. So I think he's going to do really good.
Oh, I love to hear that. Yeah. Do you feel like from when you first worked to him until now, do you kind of see him on a different trajectory for his career? Like, did you first ever see him even being at the place he is right now?
Well, how fast he was, getting better and better. Even I told him, I said, man, you got good power. You'll be a knockout puncher. You keep working hard. So I knew that he was on the right path of being a good fighter, a great fighter. So he's on that path. So now he has to continue to stay on that path. And we see what happens. He's only been doing it for 3 or 4 years, and he's already fighting Nate Diaz for like a 10-rounder. I mean, how many people do that? You know what I'm saying?
I noticed all his fights. I watched his documentary the other day, and I was like blown away. Like, he's knocked out some crazy people. I was like, Jake, did you have the same reaction at first, kind of watching him? Like, you saw him in the beginning, and then you got to kind of see him develop.
Well, I mean, like I told him, I said, man, you have knockout power, and you have good strength, you got good work ethics where you work hard, and as long as you keep doing that and you listen and you learn that, if you have that mental capacity behind you, man, it's gonna be hard to beat you for anybody. And he works out hard like if he was like a champion would. He works out like that. So if you're doing that, then that's the recipe of being a world champion one day.
I know, I totally. And would you agree with Mike Tyson? I know in his documentary he was kind of talking about how Jake's kind of been a big part of putting like that umph back in boxing. You would agree with that?
Oh, definitely agree. I mean, he's brought back the YouTube fans or the younger generation. Yeah. I would say the younger generation, because with the older generation, like I can go anywhere, they love me. But the younger generation, I know that, I heard the name Sugar Shane. They wouldn't know me like by face, but they know my name. I heard you before. So that's good that they heard of me. I remember, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I remember in Big Bear when we was like running down the street and I was training them and stuff like that. I'm a legendary fighter. And everything. Everybody knows me in Big Bear everywhere, right? So we're running down the street. I'm training Jake. We're running down. The van pulls up. Kids run out of the car. They all run to Jake. Oh, Jake. They didn't even know I'm Jake's trainer. Oh, well, I know you. You're Jake's trainer. I'm like, yeah,
really?
I'm Jake's trainer. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Do you feel like you kind of experienced that at this press conference, or not really? Because there was also Nate Diaz's crowd. So I feel like you were very recognized at this event.
Of course. No. They know who I am. And I think that it helps out because, like you said, Jake has brought that crowd to the boxing world. And now they get a chance to see, like the Terrence Crawfords and the Earl Spence, and you hear about all this stuff. And you see Chad Dawson in the audience, so they get a chance to see all the different fighters. And, I mean, man, that's just bringing so many eyes to the sport of boxing.
It really does. It's such an exciting time right now. I'm like loving it. So, what are you expecting to see then on this fight on Saturday night? Because Nate Diaz, of course, is a legendary UFC fighter. Jake Paul has been killing it in the game. Even his fight against Tommy Fury was like such a good fight. I was like, oh my God, Jake.
He's been fighting pretty much almost all his life, right? Yeah, and then you fight somebody that for 3 or 4 years. Come on. Jake is doing great, man.
He did not get knocked out or anything. It was by decision. Like that's a huge moment for him. Like no one can honestly, in my opinion, say he's not a boxer now because he really proved himself in that fight. So what are you expecting to see then on Saturday night?
Well, the mentality that I like to bring to him is a knockout, man. You have to go out there and you give 100% and give it all. And you could see the way he was talking in his on the interviews and on the podium. He's talking very confident. You know, he's very confident and he knows what he wants to accomplish in the fight. So me watching him up there talking let me know that he's like ready mentally to go out there and do some damage.
I know, definitely agree. I definitely agree. Back in your time, was that part ever hard for you? Or like, because I feel like Jake right away already kind of had that in him, but I feel like other people kind of like build it as they grow in the sport. Because I feel like Terrence was kind of more of reserved and then he kind of goes out there when he needs to. What would you say that was like for you?
I'm very, I would say nice, but I'm very like accommodating on the outside. Like I don't really get too angry with anybody, and I'm really easy to approach. But it was something when I was a kid. I'm very competitive. Yeah. So I'm one of those guys that have to win. I'm like Terrence is like that too. Terrence Crawford is like that too. I have to win. Have to.
Not a choice.
It's not even a choice. If you look at my first 22 fights, I was like 21-0 with 20 knockouts, or 22-0, 21 knockouts. I was knocking out everybody. And then even after that, even after I won the world title, I got 8 more knockouts. Straight, not all my title defenses at lightweight were by knockout, all 8 by knockout. Gosh. So I was the kind of guy that when I got in the ring, they knew it's like I was the green-eyed monster, so they called me. It's like I just transformed. And I think that it's like, in my mind, it's like, there's a plate of food in the center of the ring, and it's like, who's gonna bring that plate of food back to their family? Who's gonna eat? Wow. You gonna eat, or I'm gonna? So we're gonna give it all. I'm gonna eat. So true. I'm gonna eat. And he's like, oh no, I want to eat. No, I want to eat. I'm the big dog. I'm gonna eat. This is my ring. So then, from that point, that's why I make that transformation. It's more of animalistic killer, but really, you know. I'm tamed at the same time, but I really want to eat. I really want my family to eat.
And that's what it's about.
And that's what it's about. They're about to eat.
They're about to eat. You were ready. You were ready.
I was ready. So that was the difference. Yeah.
What was it like? I always have to ask, just like in those moments for you. Like I just can't imagine going in a ring. There's just like hundreds of thousands of people screaming your name. At first, was it like hard to even mentally deal with, or did you kind of just like thrive off that? What was it like for you going in that ring?
Well, I was the one, I kind of blocked everybody out. So I didn't really notice it. Once I got into that zone, that mental zone, it was kind of like I'm directing all my attention to that person across the ring and everybody around. Yeah, I mean, I hear things here and there, but it's like it's only me and him. It felt like it was only me and him in the ring. It's only me and him, and we're gonna figure this out. And I gotta win. You gotta eat. I gotta eat.
I think that's such a crazy experience. Well, I know your son's also a boxer. I got to interview him before, Shane Mosley Jr. Has it been different, like kind of seeing your son in the sport now? Has it changed your perspective of boxing at all, or just like now sitting and watching in the ring instead of going in there and eating?
Well, not really. My perspective is the same, and that's why I was teaching Shane is that he has all the speed, the power, movement. He has different things, different qualities that we both share. I said the main quality for any champion, doesn't matter what sport, any champion is right here. This is where they win. They win the mentality and their belief in themselves. Wow. That's any champion. You can go to Kobe, Jordan, or you go to the football players, you go to baseball players, all the soccer players, was it Macy and them? It's all here. Like they all can run up and down the court and they have all this power and strength or speed or
Yeah.
whatever. Everybody has that, right?
Uh-huh.
You can get that, but you can't get this.
that.
You have to get this by believing. So that's where the real fight is.
Yes, true. Your mental health is like the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing.
I know that always like fascinates me that so much of our world is like all just mental.
It's mental. It's how much you believe. And when you believe it, you send that energy into the world. And lots of times it happens if you really, really believe.
I so believe in that. That's why I always do believe. That's why I'm sitting here right now.
Right.
But how did you cultivate that self-belief for yourself? Did you grow up confident, or is there any experiences in your life that really helped you gain that mental power?
Like I said, being young and being the type of kid that wants to, even when my sisters would beat me in, let's say, cars, checkers, chess, whatever it is, I wouldn't stop playing them. I wouldn't let them leave the table until I won. And then sometimes they leave and, we won. Then my father or mother, somebody had to come back and play me so I can win.
Oh, you were serious.
I was 6, 7 years old, serious. I was so bad till when I was like 6 years old, and I was in this program called Junior Police. I would do, actually 6, I wasn't even supposed to be in there. I did like 100 push-ups, 100 set-ups, like in the PT thing. I beat out the 9 and 12-year-olders. I ran like the mile, like 6 minutes and, 30-some seconds. 6 years old. I was a maniac. I was doing 1.5s off the diving board. Everybody wanted to do 1.5s back then. I was doing 1.5s and 2s. But I was like 8 or 9 right there. But I was just that kid. I'd do backflips off the gate or whatever. Like I was a kid that if somebody else did it, if they can do it and be successful with it, then I can do it too. I just believe that.
That's what it's
I mean,
about.
yeah, I
You
mean,
gotta be
strong.
delusional sometimes.
Yeah, I believe it strongly. Like if they start flying, I think that I can do it too.
Girl, I'm ready for it.
I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's go.
So would you say you were born for this then? Like,
I was born for the reason why I chose boxing. And a lot of people, I said the story a few times, but the reason why I chose boxing was because it was one-on-one, and because it wasn't a team sport.
wow.
Because I believe that I wanted it better than anybody. It better whether it's basketball, football, whatever. It's a team. But if it was me one-on-one. They couldn't, in my mind, when I was 8, 9 years old, in my mind, they couldn't beat me my size and my age. If you're my age, my size, you can't beat me. Because I'm beating guys way bigger than me in any sport, way bigger than me, taller, heavier, whatever, and I'll beat them. And I'll still try to beat them. But if you're my size and my weight, it's a wrap. I'm going to be world champion. I told my mother when I was like 10 years old, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be, she said, quit when you're like 14, 15. You need to get your brains all beat up or whatever. I said, listen, Mom, I'm going to be 10 years old. I'm going to be world champion. I'm going to be great. I'm going to be one of the great fighters. Don't even worry about it. You're all right.
Wow, you spoke that into existence.
When I was 10.
Wow, that story. Was your mom so proud when it happened?
Oh, I mean, but see, my mother knew I was a maniac too, because she's the one that sent me to the gym with my father. She said, you know what, take your son to the gym so he can burn some energy off so he can go to sleep, so he can go to school tomorrow. So I could burn his energy off because I had too much energy and I couldn't want to go to sleep. So she's like, you know what, take your son to the gym with you. So he did. And like I said, it was one-on-one. I'm like, oh man, this is my sport right here.
This is meant for me.
This is meant for me. From 8 all the way on till 46 when I retired.
Wow, oh my gosh.
From 8 to 46, yeah, boxing.
Your whole life has been boxing.
My whole life is boxing.
And now you're a trainer, and now your family's in it, your son's in it.
My grandson.
Your grandson, because I talked to your son about that, like what it was like for him.
He's doing really good. He looks good, man. He's moving really good. Jazz 1-2s. You see a little bit of it. He's doing good. He's gonna be good.
What is that like for you being able to see your legacy be passed on from your son and now your grandson? Like that is a huge moment.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing to see that my son is doing well and actually training people and doing well in fighting. And then my grandson, he's going to be doing well. It just seeing all the people that surround me that enjoys the sport that I took up, that I want to be a part of that. It's a great feeling.
I love that. And on the note of your son, he's on a winning streak right now. He's won all last 3 of his fights. Right. Good for him. I love that. Right. Is there any fights you want to see him next, like with Triple G maybe, Chris Eubanks, or where is his head right now?
I'm not really sure exactly where his head's at as far as the fight's concerned, but I would love to see him win a world title. I don't know with who. It doesn't matter who. 160. then move it to 168, and then do his thing there, and then maybe light heavyweight because he's big enough to do that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would like to see him, get all the accolades that he can get. He definitely deserves it. Works hard all the time. He has the personality, the smile, the looks. I mean, he has the name. He has the whole package.
He's a package deal. I love that. So we have to talk about, of course, last week that was a huge fight. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. Were you expecting that? Were you expecting it to be? I mean, I talked to some of the pros after, and they were saying it almost was a little bit one-sided, or Terrence kind of made his toughest fight look easy. Would you agree with that? What were your thoughts on that fight when you were sitting there watching?
So when I was sitting there watching, before I made my pick of who I thought would win, I said Terrence Crawford, then I said Earl Spence maybe, and I said Terrence Crawford again, 50-50, and then I watched Earl Spence hit the mitts and watched Terrence Crawford hit the mitts, before. And I could see the difference. I see that Earl Spence was really tight, really stiff. Yeah. And then I said, on the panel, I forgot what panel I was on. I was with Ray Leonard Jr. and a few others on the panel. And I said, you know what? Crawford's going to win this fight. It wasn't even like Spence or Crawford, like, I don't know. It's like, no. Crawford's gonna win this fight. I'm going for Crawford. I know Crawford's gonna win.
You knew, wow.
Because of the way what happened, it was stiff. But see, I didn't really understand how much weight he had to lose to get there. So once I heard that, I said, that's why he's that stiff, and that's why he's that stiff, and that's why he was so weak. That's why every time Crawford hit him with the jab, boom, he's like he buckle him and knock him down. Yeah, just too weak. So anybody that loses weight from 185, 190 to get to 147, and then try to put the weight back on. I mean, it was actually pretty dangerous. So they actually need to check Spence to make sure he's okay. You know what I'm saying, as far as neurologically. But I do think that if the fight was at 54, that it would be a better fight. It wouldn't look like that one-sided. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not saying that Spence will win because I still thought Crawford had the edge from the movement of the watching him work. I still think he has the edge, but I do know watching that fight, it shouldn't have looked like that. Yeah, it should look different than that. It should have been a better fight.
I was not expecting that at all.
It should be a better fight between both guys, but I think that because of what was wrong with Spence, I don't think Spence was at 100%. I don't think that maybe, I don't know if he had enough time or he didn't lose weight properly or something like that, but that wasn't the Spence that we...
You're good. I got you.
Oh, fine.
You're good?
I'm good.
I'm good.
So I'm saying that wasn't the Spence that we was expecting to see. And I think that at 154, that'll be a better fight and a better fight that we all want to see between Spence and Crawford. And Crawford, to me, he's the number one guy. He has all the tools: speed, power, movement, mental, everything.
I know all of it. Who would you like to see him versus next?
Okay, so I would like to see Crawford fight Boots.
Yeah?
Yeah, he is Boots. That'll be the next fight because they're both similar in skill, talent, all stuff. But the key is going to be, like I said, this mentality. Yeah. Who can outwill and the other one. You know what I'm saying?
I know that, you're good?
Yeah, my eyes.
I'm like that too. When I cough or yawn or anything, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm crying. I know I watched an interview today that Terrence Crawford's actually interested in Jermell Charlo. What do you think that fight would be like? Of course, we have to have the Canelo versus Charlo first, but do you think that would be a good opponent for him? And if so, who do you think would be the winner in that face?
That I don't know either because I'm not really sure where Jamal Charlo. I'm not really sure where the type of fighters that he's fought, if they can compete with somebody like Terrence Crawford. It's a whole different league with Terrence Crawford. Mm-hmm. No. But Jamil is a great fighter. very fast, strong, and very wise too. But it's just the caliber of fighters that both of them fought is different. So
Yes.
I don't know. I really don't know. But I know that Jamel's been in the ring with a lot of top fighters. I mean, it was the Cuban.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know the name. I'm the wrong person.
Laura.
Yes, thank you.
So Laura, I know that they've been sparring with each other all the time. So he's used to southpaws, and he's used to slickness. So that could help him out with the fight with Terence Crawford. I don't know. That's just a fight I don't know. But I tend to lean to Terence because of the amazing job he did with Earl Spence.
He killed that, yeah.
So I tend to lean towards him, but I just don't know.
On the Jermell note, we have to talk about the Canelo versus Jermell. Do you have any predictions for that fight, or how do you see that going? What was that about?
I don't even know. That right there, I don't know, because I think that Canelo is strong at 168, and then Jermell moving up to 68, which he can do because he has the height and the build for it.
They've been bounced up to weight classes.
I mean, it's possible and they can do it, but I would have much rather seen the brother fight Canelo than Jamal, because the brother's bigger than Jamal or Jamel.
Jermell, I know.
Mel. Yeah. So the brother's bigger than Jamel, and I think that would have been, he's pretty strong and taller. But like I said, Jamel's strong too. I'm just not sure. Like, I've been in the ring a lot with Jamal. Actually, when Jamal was coming up, I had him as my spar partner like 2 or 3 camps.
Okay.
I would fly him out from Houston, and he'll spar with me all the time.
I did not know that.
Yes,
Wow.
that's why you could tell that their fighting styles are a little different.
Yep.
Jamal's been with me in camp, and he's more of a puncher style, more of an aggressive style than his brother does.
Yeah.
Because
That would be a good fight.
he's been messing with me.
Let's check out Shane over here. So he got that style. Yeah. Well, we have to talk about that then. You already know, everyone's been talking about it. The Caleb Plant versus Jamal slap.
I like that fight too. That's the fight I would like to see as well, just because of the slap. I wasn't even thinking about the fight like that. I thought more for Canelo, but that would actually be a great fight. I mean,
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, that would really be a good fight, and all the animosity and stuff like that. I mean, if I was Jamal, I'd be like, listen, we fight next.
I know.
We fight next. We're gonna fight next, or we're about to fight on the street somewhere.
I know.
We can fight for some money or fight for without money. Well, which one you want to do? No.
I'll pick the one with money. Yeah. I know. When you saw that video, what were you thinking? That was a pretty hard slap. I just recently saw it actually, and I didn't realize when everyone was talking about it, it was like that big of a slap.
Yeah, it was an unexpected one too. So he didn't see. I don't think he seen it coming, but it's like, he put his weight, he actually jumped into the left hook. I'm like, dang, it wasn't like a slap, like, psh. He was like, yeah, so, yeah, that's the type of slap that deserves to have a fight.
I know, I feel you on that. Yeah. And everyone's been talking about it in the fighting community because, of course, Terence Crawford just got that win. Hypothetically, of course, if it was Floyd Mayweather versus Terence Crawford, what are you thinking? Because I know you fought Floyd before, so you would know, his fighting style. What would you think about that?
I mean, you really can't say who would win because they have to get in there and fight. And it's kind of like when I hit Floyd and I rocked him. And maybe if I was like a Terence Crawford, I was a little younger, maybe, you wouldn't be seeing Floyd like this around. Maybe it might not have been a Floyd around like that. So Terence Crawford, me and Terence are kind of like the same. I mean, Terence he uses more tools than I did, meaning southpaw and right-handed. He has speed, he has power, he has that mind, like I did, like that will to win mind, the same thing. If that type of punch happened to Floyd, with Crawford today, like right now, would Floyd be able to withstand to get out of that?
I know.
He probably wouldn't be able to get out of that. It probably would have been Terence. But at the same time, Floyd could maybe outbox Terence Crawford. Maybe. I don't know. maybe he jump around rainbow boots, those punches get out, hold, he do what he does. And maybe Terrence doesn't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
So it all depends. Both guys are great fighters. I just say Floyd's great in his era, and this is Terrence Crawford's era, like he says.
I know he did say that. I was like, I love that for him. This is his era.
This is his era. Floyd has his era. Everybody had their era. Sheree had his era. Sheree Leonard. I had a little bit. I had my era a little bit. Me and Oscar and a few others. So we had an era. So Roy Jones and so everybody had their era. And I just think that it's hard to say like who would actually win. But if I would bet, I would think that Terrence will have the edge. I would think that, but I just don't know. I mean, Floyd is an excellent fighter back in those days.
Yeah.
Excellent fighter,
Definitely.
very sharp mentally, and he also had the will to win. That's why, he probably didn't fight guys at certain times. So he's like, you know what? I gotta keep that nobody can't beat me. I can't let nobody beat me. So he worked hard. He would, from going to the club, he would run home just to make sure that he's in shape. So, I mean, Floyd was unbelievable. Like he really, really wanted to win. So I mean, that would have been the fight of the ages,
The century.
That's
Not even the decade.
That'd be the fight of the century. Yeah, that's a fight that I would definitely have wanted to see.
Me too. Paid a lot of money for that one.
Oh yeah.
We got to talk about the Sugar Shane Mosley era. What was the most rewarding part for you in your career?
I think it's like 2 or 3 parts to it. So
Let's hear it. We got time.
so the first part would be win my first lightweight title, world title. It took me a long time to actually get a title shot because people were afraid to fight me. Well, a record of 20-0, 19 knockouts, or 22-0, 20 knockouts. Who was like
I'm
that?
not trying to get in the ring with him.
That's pretty much everybody's knocked out. So it's like they didn't want to do that. And I was really a buzzsaw, so I would sit there and poke away until you fail. If I knocked out the first round, I'm trying to get your second round. That second round, third round, fourth. Like I think I knocked out somebody in every single round, from 1 to 12. And all the knockouts I had, I think I knocked out a person first, second, third, fourth, fifth, the different rounds, all the way through.
You were at it.
So I was at it. But I would say the first title fight was really rewarding because I fulfilled my goal, my destiny, my goal of being a world champion. That's what I wanted. And then the second fight that was really good was with me and Oscar De La Hoya
Yeah,
in
that was a big
2000.
one.
That was a big one. That let people know who I was. That I have arrived. I swept the lightweight division. Now I'm jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Oscar De La Hoya, which is supposed to be, he was the man.
Yeah.
So to beat him and to beat him in front of like all those celebrities, all those people, there was so many people around the ring.
Oh, that was probably
That's the first time I actually looked around the ring, like because usually I get in the ring, I look a little bit, and then but I jumped in the ring and because that my fight was right a day before the final Lakers finals when they fought when they played against who was it? No, they played against Indiana Pacers.
Okay.
They
so
played against
another big one.
they played against
2000,
in 2000. It was 2000. So it was the day before my fight with me and Oscar, and we were the first fight at Staples Center, ever.
Really?
Yeah, we was the first fight at Staples Center. We opened it up with the boxing, me and Oscar De La Hoya in 2000, June 17th.
Oh, that's my mom's birthday. Wow, June 17th.
June
I'll never forget that.
June 17th. So we opened it up, and then the next day I got a chance to go to the playoff game, the last game. They won the game, the last one.
So that whole weekend for you.
Oh, it was crazy. I was on cloud 9. I'm like, man, it was crazy. But like I said, walking in the ring, just think about it. If you look outside the ring and you see just nothing but people that that you've seen on TV, just row after row. Then you go this side, row after row. You go this side, row after row. Go this side, row after row. You just see, I mean, just name it. Everybody, I can name different people, but just anybody you can think of, Will Smith and all of them. I mean, just everybody. I mean, I would just say this.
I know Will Smith would already had me right there.
I mean, just everybody. I mean, everybody. You can think about it, yeah.
And you won. So like
And then I
that
won, yeah.
moment, even more rewarding, having all those people.
Great. But that's the first time I actually like walked in the ring and like looked around like, and not starstruck, but like, oh my God, like really? Arnold Schwarzenegger and what you got over there? Like you just look around. Wasn't boxing like, you know, I know all the boxers, like, you know, the Roy Joneses and all that, right? It was like all the
A-list celebrities.
The A-list celebrities are all around the ring. And I was like, wow.
That is a moment. Oh my gosh.
And this is before the fight. So I'm like, oh man, now Oscar got to come out and, you know, he does things. But yeah.
And what about your third moment?
The third moment, I think
Didn't you say there was three?
There were three. There was three, like, I think that highlight my career.
Yeah.
All the fights are great, but the third one was when I fought Margarito at the Staples Center.
Okay.
2009. And it was, you know, I was a 7-1 underdog.
Wow, when you came in an underdog.
I was the underdog because he had just beat Cotto, stopped Cotto, right? And then they found the hand wraps. And then, yeah, it was like they found the hand wraps and we had him take them off, put some more on. And I went in there and basically I did kind of what Crawford did with Earl Spence. It was almost the same type of thing.
Really?
Yeah, so I kind of like dominated him like that, and then I knocked him out in about the ninth round.
Was it technical knockout or actual like?
It was like I hit him put that through the towel's flying. I hit him with the right. It was actually the same exact round. Actually, that's funny.
Stop.
I just thought about it. It's the same round, the ninth round. I pretty much executed him the same way Crawford did with Spence. It's almost identical. Now that I think about it, yeah.
You're like, wait, now that we're talking about it.
The only thing that's different is that I was such a big underdog. Whereas Crawford, it was 50-50. But me, I was just like an underdog. Like,
There's no way.
There's no way. He's 39 years old. You know, Whatchamacallit was younger. So I was 39 when I fought.
Wow.
So I was almost 40. And it's like, he's not going to, Whatchamacallit's going to beat him. And that was supposed to be my last fight pretty much to retire. And, you know, but I like really put that number on him.
So nobody was expecting that then. Everyone was.
They wasn't expecting it. They came in, it was all Margarito. They left chatting Mosley.
Oh, that was probably such a moment for you.
Oh, man, that's what I'm saying. That's the third moment. That was the moment.
I can imagine just like the thrill. All three of those just sound like, oh my gosh, you were definitely on cloud nine.
Yeah. And it was so many people there. And that was the biggest fight at the Staples Center ever. I mean, no, not even fight. That was the biggest event at the Staples Center ever.
Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my God, this is so fun to talk about. You've had such a rewarding career. What has been like the biggest thing you've learned in your career? Like looking back at it now, where you're at, what would you say? You're like,
I don't know. I mean, as far as being on a positive note, just staying true to yourself and going for it, you know. Even when you think that it's not going to happen, I think that it's almost impossible. It's like believe in yourself, believe that you can do, believe that you can accomplish and overcome, believe that you can be the superstar, believe that you could be great, believe it, and really believe and go for it, and you know it'll happen. Don't let nothing deter you. Don't let nothing like take you off your course, off your path. You stay on the path, believe, man, magical things can happen.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I feel like I needed to hear that. I was like, I received all of that. Yes, all that good energy. It's so true. Yeah. Belief is really like the first thing to accomplish any of your goals. I mean, your life is literally showing it. A 10-year-old was like, I'm going to be world champion.
I'm going to be great.
And you
be one of the great ones. Been just like I remember Sugar Ray Robinson's wife before he passed away. His wife, I was 14, 15 years old. It's like, my name is Sugar. She's like, oh, well, you have to be good to be a Sugar. I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to be world champion. I'm going to be great. I'm going to be great. She's like, okay, you got to be good. Come on, you're a Sugar. You got to be great.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. It's that great Sugar Robinson, yeah.
And look at the Sugar. That is right. Sugar is great in the name. Yeah. Well, it's been so lovely talking with you. This is such a great conversation. You are such an amazing person. I'm so happy we had the time to sit down and talk. Is there anything else you want to share with the fight fans watching? Any last word from Sugar Shane Mosley, the one and only?
Well, one last thing I can say is watch my boy Jake Paul. He's going to do an amazing job out there. He had a amazing camp, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see him show all the things that he's learned in this camp. So stay tuned.
Bye, guys.